announcement this morning. Let us pray. God, prepare our hearts. You may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. When the day that you eat of it, you shall not eat. The woman said to the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden, but God said, you shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the middle, nor shall you touch it, for you shall die. But the serpent said to the woman, you will not die, for God knows. When you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eye, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. And she also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate. And then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together and made loincloths for themselves. Then we turn to the letter of Paul to the Romans, chapter 5, verses 12 through 19. Therefore, just as sin came into the world through one man, and death came through sin, and so death spread to all because sin was indeed in the world before the law. Sin is not reckoned when there is no law. Yet death exercised dominion from Adam to Moses, even over those whose sins were not like the creation of Adam. It was a type of the one who was to come. But the free gift is not like the trespass. For if many died through the one man's trespass, much more surely the grace of God and the free gift and the grace of the one man, Jesus Christ, abounded for the many. And the free gift is not like the effect of the one man's sin. For the judgment following one trespass brought condemnation, but the free gift following many trespasses is justification. If because of one man's trespass death exercised dominion through that one, much more surely will those who receive the abundance of grace and the free gift of righteousness exercise dominion in life through the one man, Jesus Christ. Therefore, just as one man's trespass led to condemnation for all, the one man's act of righteousness leads to justification and life. For just as by the one man's disobedience, many were made sinners, so by the one man's obedience, many will be made righteous. God bless for understanding these readings from the Word. Last Wednesday was Ash Wednesday, which is the first day of the season of Lent in the church year that leads up to Easter. And Lent has traditionally been a time when Christians have done a spiritual assessment of themselves to try to determine what do I need to be doing differently? What could I do better? Where do I need to ask God for help? I believe such an assessment ties right into the readings we had today from the book of Genesis and Paul's letter to the Romans. And in the book of Genesis, God gives us an explanation of who we are, chapters 2 and 3. We read about Adam and Eve eating the fruit of the one tree in the Garden of Eden that God said, the fall from a right relationship with God to a life of sin because of their disobedience. And because of that, sin entered the world. And we are all descendants of that was also our sin nature. First, I think we have to be clear about what the Bible tells us that was an apple, but it's simply the fruit of the tree of knowledge. After the third son named Seth was born to Eve, we read that Adam, quote, became the father in his likeness. So Seth was born into Adam's sinful nature. Tendency to what we might call disobedience or rebelliousness, wanting to live instead of living. in touch, to put us in a right relationship with God. The Bible calls that sin. Paul used the same word in our reading today from Romans chapter 5. Sometimes that can be hard. I think we all have that sense of balance. God, He wants us to be as holy and righteous that we've inherited from Adam. It's often not easy to do that. Some of you may have heard a story that goes something like this. I've heard it in different forms. But a church put on its sign outside, if you're tired of sin, and underneath somebody wrote, if not, call 555-4321. Well, I think we all face temptations in our life, day by day. Jesus faced them, and you can read about how He flawlessly faced them in Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11, one of the suggested scripture readings in our bulletin today. But so often there's a price we pay for our sin. Consequences that come from them, maybe not immediately, but I read a story about a young farm boy who was angry at a neighboring farmer and, well, hurt his feelings. So this young farm boy decided he was going to find a way to get revenge, and he came up with a plan. He got on his horse and rode 20 miles to a store, and there he bought a big sack of Johnson grass. And I think all of you know, most of you know, and I've learned this as I moved here, how difficult it is to get rid of Johnson. I mean, it's not something that's really desirable to have, and it's very hard to do away with. So this young boy took that bag of grass and planted it in some very prime land this other man had in the very rich soil of his bottom ground. And as he grew up, and that farmer for the rest of his life really fought for trying to do it. But this young man and the line fell in love with this farmer's daughter. And when the farmer died, his daughter inherited that. Guess what that meant? The one who planted is the one for the rest of his life who also had to deal with it. The Bible reminds us that we are sinners. Psalm 24 asks, who shall ascend the hill of the Lord and stand in the holy place? And the answer that the psalmist gives is those who have clean hands and pure hearts, who do not lift up their souls to the Sometimes we may have to confess, well, my hands aren't so clean. My heart is so pure. So where does that leave us in dealing with our sinful nature? Well, here's the answer that Paul gives us. That there's one answer to it. That's the answer that comes through faith in Christ. In his first letter to the Corinthians, Paul called Jesus the last and says that the first Adam brought sin and death because of his disobedience. But Jesus humbled himself, submitted himself, and provided a means for our salvation. So, in brief, only Christ can free us from the power of sin. And only God can bend those flaws we have in nature. So as we open ourselves up to God's grace and forgiveness and peace, then let Him free us from the grip that sin has on our life. And Paul might say something like this: as we look to Jesus, the last, we can be freed from the curse. Until we realize our relationships in that trench were many wounds, dying, and he knew he only had a short time to live. And so he turned to another man. He said, Dominic, you have led a very bad life. You're wanted by the police in multiple locations. And my name is Flynn. So here, take my wallet, my papers, and my good name, and hand me your papers so that we start. And that's what Christ wants to do for us. He calls us to turn to him, receive God's forgiveness, live in the freedom. Freedom. And then as we accept God, then is still going to be with us. The writer of the hymn that we sometimes according to God's will for our life. We do find the happiness that he offers and follow him. Today, in the great our faith. And that great news is that through our faith in Jesus Christ, we can be freed of worthless. That is good. That is always